It's okay. We at the cookout, so we allowed to be little bit late.
A little late on CP time at the cookout.
A little bit
A little bit
late.
late, and I'm eating.
And we already good evening, just patches.
Listen, Patriots don't be playing.
Don't be
Okay,
yeah, right?
okay, that's what I call a supportive person right there.
Yes, yes.
My last bite of food, y'all.
What are you eating?
Exactly.
Abraham, me or Ashley?
Oh, y'all both eating? You know what, Shook? The last time we had a live, one of my friends said, that lady Auntie Suge was throwing down on her food. I wanted to say something, but I was scared. I was like,
I
don't be
thought
scared,
about
Suge. She ain't gonna bite.
it. Yeah, I talk about Elijah said it too. He said she'll be on there eating for real. Like y'all just be biting,
Look,
she be eating.
throwing down, not
I
playing
be
no
hungry
games.
Listen, hey
after
y'all.
after a long day working with these people, and then coming home have to cook for these kids, have to grocery shop. Just to be hungry.
Listen, starved.
I
Starved,
mean, I
okay?
feel you on that.
Mm-mm-mm.
So, did we get a question?
Not yet. Not yet. We haven't. People just coming on in. And Auntie Keisha be here, y'all. I know y'all might be looking like, wait a minute. Auntie Keisha be here soon.
Oh, she will.
Yeah, she said
Yes.
she
So
come.
y'all do know that this is our monthly live. We answer all mental health questions. So please feel free to drop any questions you have in the chat to get us started. Otherwise, we're just gonna be on here talking,
Right.
talking about nothing. Y'all, I've been sick since I came back from Mexico. I ain't never going out the country again, except for next week. But then after that, I ain't going out the country no more.
Yeah, you'll
You
be
a
out the
lie.
next year.
You no lie.
Lord, I came back. I've been sick, nose stuffed up from the pollen. Can't get right. And I'm supposed to be going to the Bahamas next week, and I ain't feeling right.
Not baby Elijah here talking about some. Ooh, you said the Bahamas. He said, ooh.
Yes. Hey, I have a question though. Are y'all ready for the cookout? Like the real cookout?
I'm super excited about it.
I feel like we need to remind people about it because I don't know if they like really know. Like everybody keep on saying, y'all having an in-person cookout, and I'm like, we talk about it, but
With you. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop this up here because we are having our first real life clinical cookout in Ohio.
Yes,
And
indeed.
not only are we having a cookout, but we're also having a conference, a mental health conference, um, minority mental health, and we're all talking about different topics. So y'all know Auntie Amber here. I'm the evaluator, so I'm talking about evaluations, what that looks like for people of color, and some of the misconceptions about that.
I'm talking about relationships, y'all, from a womanist lens, though. So it's gonna be interesting to consider our relationships with our different intersections. So it's all about relationships with me.
so when you say from a womanist lens, you have to start explaining what this is because I don't think that people fully understand what it is, me included.
Not she said me. Hey, Keish girl.
There she is, Abe. There she is. She heard.
Wait, not
She here.
now. Terry had her back. Abe said, "Where Keish?" Terry said, "She coming soon."
Yeah, I had to go get this natural hair taken care of
All
underneath this
right,
wig.
all right. Hi, Nicole. So, the womanist frame. So, okay. So, womanism is a concept that came about because during the feminist movement, Black women did not feel like the feminist movement included us because, unfortunately for us, we have two intersections that are minority intersections, which is gender and race, Black and woman. So, with that intersection, we couldn't just be out here talking about gender problems because we can't really separate our gender problems from our racial issues. So, Alice Walker coined the term womanism. Alice Walker is the author of The Color Purple. She coined the term womanism to encompass that space for Black women and women of color specifically. So when you consider womanism in anything from that frame, you are looking at every part of a person because you can't separate certain things out. So for me in a relationship, I'm married. as a Black woman, that looks very different than white women, period. So I have to consider that when considering how I engage in relationships and how Black women engage in relationships, other women of color engage in relationships. And it also fits for men as well. Womanism does not take men out of the framework like feminism almost did. So that's the basics of it.
How does womanism include men?
So here's the thing, because it looks at everything from but what the hell?
I just want to see if it was going to work. My bad. I was testing it out. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, it includes men because womanism still considers the collectivist framework. So for Black women, if you notice, even in today's society, you get a lot of Black women that still set for Black men. When something happens to a Black man, we be at the front line because at the end of the day, we understand Black men from the racial perspective. So it includes men because that collectivist mindset means we cannot do this without each other. As opposed to I'm going against you and I'm trying to be like equal to you. It's more about equity and it's about that collectivist mindset to get things done.
That's dope. The reason why I asked her all those questions is because I wanted her to let the audience know that yes, she's coming from a womanist perspective, but it does not disinclude men. So we're not trying to deliberately disinclude anybody. Men marry women, you know. But anyway, I'm coming from a trauma framework. I believe, and I do a lot of work with trauma. I believe that we pack up all of our bags and we bring them into our relationship and then we just dump them on the other person. So I would like to try and help people unpack their trauma properly before they get to other people or before they bleed on other people who did not. And there's a lot of people that do that and they don't understand why their relationships are failing. And that's with friends, family, lovers, everybody, their kids. They don't understand that your trauma is a part of you. And it's okay for you to have childhood trauma. It's okay for you to have current trauma. It's how do you handle it? Nobody's getting out of this unscathed.
Are we talking about
what you talking about, Keith?
He said, what we talking about? What you talking about at the cookout in July? What you gonna be talking about?
So I specialize in kids, early childhood. So I work with children 0 to 6. And since I recently transitioned over into a regional master trainer, I now do trainings for other professionals, educators, and just different agencies, even still in the community, basically addressing mental health with young kids. And at the cookout, I will be doing PAX tools, which is basically if you want to reach them, you got to teach them, which is basically the kids. And so I heard this quote from, I think it was TikTok, and they said instead of being a cycle breaker, be a cycle starter. So I know that we want to, break a lot of cycles, but instead of breaking them, how about we start new cycles? And so with my training, I want to be able to provide educators, pastors, the people who will be there, teachers, even other social workers or mental health professionals with the tools they need to help parents, basically help with discipline. You don't necessarily have to go to the corporal punishment. That doesn't necessarily have to be your first option. We can do other things before we even get there, or even if we even have to get there. So that's what I'll be covering at the cookout.
That'll be fine. I'm excited.
Oh, what? The trees.
Whose kids is those?
You know they mine.
Just comment here, girl.
Some more people that showed up. So hi, Patrice. How are you?
Oh, miss nothing yet, girl. You here on time.
Yeah, and the only thing you missed was just us introducing our clinical cookout that's going to be on July 13th in Cleveland, Ohio. So y'all be ready. Get the plane tickets, hotels booked. We about to light it up in Ohio. We're gonna have fun. Hey, Mama.
Hey, Mama Linda.
Who else we got? Abe, of course. We love Abe's support. And hello, this is cousin, right?
No, that's my brother.
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 What's up, brother?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we don't have any questions yet.
Patrice had a comment. I do want to highlight it just real quick. She said, I don't want to do what a man should unless I absolutely have to. I don't do 50-50, but I keep a small bag just in case, like Mama said. Girl, that lives in here. That's actually something that fits well into what I will be something I can discuss in the workshop. Because even though you feel that way, there are some women who don't feel that way. So there should never
Oh,
be.
girl.
Wait, what'd you say, Sean?
I was gonna hit on that. You go ahead. You was talking.
There are some women that don't actually feel that way. So the thing is, we have to consider autonomy. You as a woman feel that way. I know plenty of women who do feel that way. But for that woman that doesn't, if I work the same exact job that a man does, I deserve the same pay. I deserve the same treatment. So that's that part of it. But also, it's about how you were raised. Everybody was raised different. I was raised keep a small bag just in case. My granny always said it. So in that frame, you still have to have some form of independence. We can't fully ever be dependent on anybody. And that's where a lot of the talks of how we do relationships come in and being accepting of how everyone chooses to do their relationships.
Yeah. So I love that she said that, because some women, like you said, absolutely do say, you know what, I got a small bag. But sometimes that comes from trauma. And often we hand down intergenerational trauma. So granddad did it. I had to have my little bag. And so when you get a man, you better have your bag just in case. But in some relationships, not all relationships, that creates the escape strategy. If you're in a good marriage, if you're committed to working with somebody, why do you always have an escape strategy? Why do you always have an escape route planned? Sometimes what you think kind of manifests itself into what actually happens. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is everybody ain't for everybody, and people do some really messed up stuff. And if just in case somebody should do something messed up, you don't want to be looking po-mouthed. So, listen, my grandmama said it was po-mouthed. You don't want to be looking po-mouthed. So you better make sure that you have your bag ready. So I think it depends on the lens that you're looking through. If I have rose-colored goggles and I'm in a certain kind of marriage, then that's not going to work for me. But if I'm operating through some stuff and I done seen some stuff and that's just my mind frame, then that's probably going to be my mind frame in my marriage too. Neither way is wrong. Neither way is right. It's just what works for who.
I love that you said like you took it to it's an escape plan for some people, but then when you look at it from the other side, it's a safety and protection plan. When you mentioned intergenerational trauma, we know research-wise, trauma can come down through the DNA, and because trauma comes down through the DNA,
I'm sorry, but
money. Hey, what the hell are you talking about?
Y'all want to be knocked out.
Everyone get his head knocked.
Why you put her on blast like that, Abe?
Abe want to get his head knocked between the washer and dryer.
Oh, he said she had money. See, she keeping that bag. I'm just saying.
If y'all know anything about me, when Abe says she ain't good with money, you know not to listen to him, right? Because y'all know who is good with money.
Oh my God, I see in McCoy. But yeah, it's that DNA, that trauma coming down through the DNA. You got to go back. For us, our history is we didn't know if our families would be separated or not. So we could get married, but we didn't know if that man was going to be sold off to another spot. So you still had to have your own and know how to handle it. So it is all about trauma at the end of the day. Oh, Sienna said a prenup is working for me right now. Okay.
So I don't know. I think my view is kind of similar to what both of y'all are saying. But the way that I grew up, like what I saw from my parents was that they were look at my husband finally joining. Okay. Hey. But who are you doing that to? Because but anywho, so the way that what I saw with my parents is that they were always a team. Financially, it was always like we're together, we're building together, we're saving together, we purchase things together. So it was always like a partnership for them. I don't know. My mama might have had a little bag on the side, but I don't really think that she was like saving up on the side just in case something happened. they were both kind of all in and invested financially. So that's what I expected when I came into my marriage. But then what my husband saw with his parents, it was a little bit different. So it is like what you perceive or what you expect may change depending on the person that you're with. And you guys have to figure that out together. Like what works for both of you. 50-50 may work for you, 50-50 may not work for you. But it really is based on what y'all decide is the best for your family.
Can I add the systemic part into this too? I mean, I know we're talking on an individual level, but also from a systemic standpoint, Black women had no other choice but to work. So to have the bag on the side, it's almost like, yeah, that may be birthed out of the racial trauma that we endured, but I think that's something that's automatically was put onto us because we automatically had to be placed in those situations. We were never able to be afforded being stay-at-home wives like white women were back in the day. That just wasn't something that we were afforded to do. So working has always been a part of our life story and history. So, yes, there is a component of trauma, but that racial trauma part is also a part of why our culture continues to have these recycling conversations about, oh, do you need a bag? Do you not need a bag? 50-50, are we going 50? And I feel like it's just something that our community constantly has to talk about because it's constantly been a part of our lives, whether it's directly or indirectly.
That's very true.
And I want to comment on this because Sienna says, Mom and Dad taught me to be independent. My parents taught me to be independent too. But I think what independence means is different for different people. Because you'll get some people where you say independent and they think that means I don't need nobody for anything and I can function on my own for everything. And that is also the downfall of Black women. We don't want to ask for help. We don't want to feel weak to have to go to someone else and say, you know what, I need help with this. Like, I really can't do this on my own. I need someone to help me with this. So I think that is also an issue, is how we are taught or what we are taught that independence means. Because humans, we are all humans. We need people. We need people in our lives. It's just, what type of people do we want to have around? It's all like learning, right? Through life, because you're going to have these negative experiences. You're going to learn what type of people you want to have in your life. Who can you trust to ask for help when you need it? Who can you not trust? And when you have those big traumas, that like really makes you feel like you can't trust anybody. So independence starts to mean like it's just me against the world and nobody's here for me and I got to do it all myself.
Yeah.
Oh, my boy
It
Timmy.
said number one cause of divorce is finances. That's actually changing. I don't know if it's changed yet, but a lot of divorce lawyers are talking about communication is now one of the bigger ones. That's why divorces are happening, because of communication now. Not saying finances aren't still up there, because it is, but it's starting to change. And I think COVID probably brought out a lot of that.
And it's not, honestly, if you look at the research over the years, it always flip-flops between the three when it comes to divorce. It's either going to be finances, communication, or intimacy, sex issue. Those are always top three. Finances have been number one forever, but now we know communication, because you need to have good communication to handle finances. So
it's difficult to communicate when you have it. Sure, go in there.
Where's the stash?
I'm trying to make this link. Is he being slow?
He is. Sienna says, talk about when women make more than their husbands.
Can the single person say something first? Before we do the married aunties in.
Go ahead, Keish. Go ahead.
Let me start it off so they can get their thoughts together. Let me start it off.
Before she talk, can y'all ignore my husband? He acting not less than smart in the comments.
Marcus has already shown he's in here. So let me be the single person and start off, so everybody can gather their thoughts real quick. So as a single woman who's not married, I would say from a single woman's perspective, it has been a very hard thing for me to tiptoe around. I don't even tell people what I do for a living. I don't even say I'm a doctor, because I feel like if I say that, automatically I'm put in this category. So I don't even say nothing. Or if I have been in a relationship with a man who makes significantly less than me, which I have. My last boyfriend made significantly less than me. There was never an issue because he had his own home, he had his shit together. So for me, I'm always with the men who are secure in who they are first. But you'll know, to me, you will know if somebody is not secure in that area, and it will show before then. And maybe it won't until after you start making more money. But I think a person, I think you got to have those conversations before you get serious with somebody. Me and my ex-boyfriend had that conversation. So we talked about rules. We talked about who made what would happen if one of us made more money, or even if I made more money. So I think it's definitely a conversation to have. And if a man is jealous, if I have more money than him, then that ain't the man for me. Period. That's the end of that.
Child, mine don't care. I think he likes that I make more money than him. Don't care.
Right. These days, men want to be the sugar babies.
He does, but I also think it's because of our history, and that it's kind of been like a switch off over time. So like it started off with both of us making a little bit of money, then we were struggling, and I started making better money. Then it kind of switched off, and he started making better money. So we've each had to like hold it down for each other for us to get to certain goals. So now that we're there, he don't care. He's like, yes, do it.
Right.
Make
Take
the
me
money.
on that trip, boo.
Go ahead. Where we going next? Where's the next trip? Let's do it.
But the reason why he feels like that is because y'all are a we. So there's no individualistic mindset in your marriage. Y'all are saying like, well, that's what it sounds like. If he's saying you can make more money than me, or I can make more money than you, it don't sound like y'all plan on splitting up all that money right now, right?
No, but we're still working on the individualistic thing, or like the partnership thing. We're still working on that.
I'm talking about financially individualistic.
No, there's another level to this, to where he grew up. His parents were like that. His mom was the breadwinner. And his dad was not.
He said, what? I can't see what he's saying.
Marcus said, chill, yo.
Chill. All right, I'm chilling. But yeah, so he doesn't care if I make more money than him. But
we're seeing that. Asking these damn personal questions.
I'm all the way confused now. Never mind.
Listen, it's two sides to this. You have to, so if we talking just financial, you have relationships and couples where everything is merged once they marry. Everything becomes joint. And then you have couples where it's like, we got a joint account for certain things, but we keep separate accounts. That's our business because we are individuals. You do what works for your relationship. It is a we mindset when you get with somebody, whether you get married or it's a long-term relationship, but you are still your own individual self, which is why it's so hard for people to come together and form that union, because part of us is always going to think about ourselves. Now, Elijah don't care. I've never made more than him, but baby, he can't wait till the day that I do. He already said, if the clinical cookout blow up and y'all get rich, I quit. I ain't doing nothing else. I'm staying home. And that's another thing in relationships that throws people. If that woman does make more, can that man be the stay-at-home father? You got some women who would say absolutely not.
I'm personally a fan of it. Like, I don't want you to stay home. Get the fuck out of my way.
I have listen, Elijah will watch live back because he always watch our stuff. He in a different country right now, so he don't be on here when we on here. He will watch this back and he will vouch and say, I have always said, if we could reverse roles and I make more and you stay home, that would be great because you're the better homemaker. Period. Elijah is better in this house than I am. I ain't got no problem admitting that. So that's our dynamic, though.
Mm-hmm. I think that ties back to what systemically men have been taught. The reason why I feel like men are sensitive about money is because they have been attached to money systemically. That is a system that they built. And then when they get mad, I don't understand why you would be mad about that. Like, you should be excited that your partner is making money. To me, it doesn't make sense. But I think that men tie themselves, their self-esteem, to money. What other things do you have for yourself that isn't money that can help, like, compensate for that area? I don't know. I'm not a man, so I don't know why that's such a big deal. Listen,
it's not all
it would be nice to have a man on to give a male's perspective, because
it's not all men's fault, though. It's not. Society told men for eons. You are the provider. You can't pump that into somebody's head for generations and then expect for them to be okay if their partner is the actual provider making more. Like they don't look at it like they don't look at it like
today.
They don't look at it like we both provide, and they look at it like she's providing more and I'm supposed to be the provider. But society did that to them. So we can't be, we have to be in this area. I'm a little bit more gentle with men because I know society has told them you are a provider, you are protected. If you can't do that, then you aren't a man. And I don't like that because there's more to life than just being a provider and a protector.
Yeah. Oh, hey, my brother's here.
Y'all know my Dorian. Hey, Dorian.
But I think most men think it's masculine to run a household and money is needed for that. Absolutely.
He said, not me. Hashtag not me.
Even Abe says like bare bones.
But men typically don't run the household. It's women who run the household typically. They're not, men aren't running the household. Women can go and tell you exactly where the social security card is at for the kids, when the appointments is at, what to do, where the stuff is at.
Listen,
men ain't running nothing.
And even with the finances, my grandfather always worked and made more than my grandmother. But you know who paid the bills and wrote the checks? My granny. My grandfather would come home, hand his check, he would write the bill. So it's like,
that's why I don't understand why Abraham talking.
Listen, don't be listen, y'all. Quit asking these questions so these women can go home to their husbands and not knock them in between the washer and dryer.
Because Abe on here, he out for blood. He's
Abe like don't talk good.
I'm so confused. I'm like, what? Why are you?
You know what? Speaking of making more money, I was watching Tabitha Brown. Does anybody in here know who Tabitha Brown is?
Yes.
Her husband. Now he worked obviously while she was trying to get her dream on, going. Now that the roles have switched, he has stopped working, and they were on not a podcast, but like on a panel. And he said, "My last name is, her last name." He was like, "That's me." He was like, "When she's successful, that's me." Like this goes up there proud, as he should be. Now I'm sure he at home. He don't got to work no more. I think he was a cop. He retired, or she retired. He doesn't work.
So
anymore,
let me get into that.
I like that.
Wendy Williams, Tabitha Brown retired her husband when she got on.
Yep.
And it was a lot of people popping off about don't be doing that for no man. It's a man that don't work and he gonna leave you and this, that, and the third. And Tabitha Brown slayed them in the name of Jesus so beautifully. Like it was Wendy Williams, of course. Wendy, I hope that you find someone that loves you as thoroughly as my man has loved me. I choose to retire my man because we are a we, and mind your business. And it was like beautiful. I need to find it.
I'm mad about it.
Wendy was speaking from straight trauma. We know enough about her story to know that everything she said was speaking from trauma. And that's the thing. When people give you their opinions and suggestions, please know that that's from their own perspective, their experience, their trauma. So for women who find it bad or like not okay or not traditional if a woman does, because Tabitha Brown retired that man because he was a cop. Y'all know how dangerous that is? I would have retired my husband too. I don't want you out there in the streets if you don't have to be. In the day I can retire Elijah, I'm gonna do it because I'm okay with that. He carried us all of these years. I don't mind being the one to then say, okay, now I'm gonna do it because there's other ways to carry family. That's what I mean by society making men think all you can do is provide money. There are other ways to carry a family. I would love for Elijah to come here and take the kids to all of their activities like I'm doing right now. But he can't because he's working. So if we can trade that off, it's fine. But you have to be willing to say, this is what works for this person. It's not bad or good or wrong or right. It just is.
Hold on. Let's make it clear here. It has to be the right man to do this for. Because that man was up on stage glowing like he had a good skincare routine going on about Tabitha Brown. He looked so proud. You have to have a man who isn't jealous of you, because men get jealous too. You have to have a man that's proud of you. He was proud sitting up there like, that's me, that's my wife. And that is the type of partnership. When I think of that, I think of that type of partnership. It's okay if you retire your husband. That's only if he's willing to lift you up. to the next level. So I'm sure she's elevating because of her support team behind her, which technically is her husband. Do you think Tabitha Brown will be just as successful if her husband was being jealous, if her husband was trying to pull her down, if her husband was trying to say, well, I'm the man and I'm gonna beat my chest for my masculinity? Nah, that nigga sat right down and was like, you know what? I'm the man of the house and that's my wife and I'm still a man. It doesn't take anything away from me as a man because I see my wife up there doing what she needs to do and be successful. Period. That's a man, y'all.
Sienna. Oh, you clicked some too. Can't do it for everything. I was clicking Sienna's comment. She said that works for. Hold on, I can't get it up there. Amber, you click it too. She said that works for. Oh no, not that one.
You the reason my stuff is over here getting stuck because somebody's clicking while I'm clicking and I'm trying to go through the comments.
Oh, you're trying to go. I'm gonna stop clicking. I'm gonna let you click.
Yeah.
Sienna said, my mother went off when she heard Tabitha Brown. She disagreed wholeheartedly. Your mother is from a different generation. Generation past would never, okay? They don't play that. It's like, no, that man is supposed to protect and provide, and that's what he's supposed to do. And I ain't the one working. Like when you hear older generations say that, you have to remember where they're coming from, what generation they coming from. It's different.
I don't think you have to be from a different generation. I think you have to be in a different marriage, or you have to have a different mindset, or you might need to be coming from a different family. So you might get some. I'm in this generation, and I would say the same thing. It depends on you and what you come from.
True. When I say the generational thing, I mean considering history. Women back in the day, like Keisha was saying a little earlier, women back in the day could not. Black women always worked. But women couldn't have a house in their name. They couldn't get a credit card without their husband's signature. There was too much we couldn't do. So you have to think, women who come from a generation where they couldn't do things without a man, their mindset is going to be a little bit different. Now, there might have been women in those generations that thought differently and fought for things differently. But overall, those older generations come from a place where women couldn't do certain things. Like I think we talked about before, it used to be a time where women went to college, girls went to college out of high school simply to look for a husband, not to get an education. Once they found their husband, they was out. So the generational mindset does shift a little bit. And you got your outliers in every generation. I do think that plays a part in it.
And Tabitha Brown is about 50 years old. So
she
ain't exactly a spring chicken.
Abraham said that was a business decision. I'm glad you said that because I think a lot of people are very let's just say very sensitive when you call business or make a decision in a marriage. That's a business decision. And to be honest, I agree. It is a business decision. Part of your marriage is a business. Like if you don't know that by now, because it ain't gonna be love that's gonna hold love paying the bills. Because if so, let me know. Because I'll get up there real quick. So I think that if you make that much money, you do have to make business decisions like that. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. They have to make that business decision to work for their family.
Marriage is absolutely a business.
I was just going to say your marriage is a business.
It's a business. Marriage wasn't about love historically. I don't think people realize marriage had nothing to do with love for a long, long time. Like that ain't what it had to do with.
So when I got married, I'll say this. I did not say, oh my God, I love him. I want to marry him. I said that, but I also looked at, is he going to be a good father? That I think, because I don't know, because I haven't had kids with him. Am I going to be, is he going to be a good provider? Is he going to keep a job? Is he stupid? Does he squander his money? Is he going to squander his job? Is he going to make split impulsive decisions that's going to affect me in the future? Is he gonna elevate me? I looked at everything when it came to getting married. I didn't, and I don't know where I got that mindset from, but I just did. And I think that's why it's a business, because you don't just marry people and just be like, we're gonna live happily ever after because we're in love, because you ain't always looking at that person and so in love with them all the time. Abraham is in these comments and he might get slapped later. I don't know. So, you know what I mean? Like, you're not always looking at that person like, oh my God, I just love him. Sometimes you don't even like that person. Sometimes you have to make like the decision to get up. Love is an action. You have to make an action to get up and actually love that person when you're mad at them, when they
Yeah.
ain't doing your kids right, when you ain't doing your kids right, when they ugly, when they tired, when they depressed, when they sad. It's a decision. Like, it's not just I'm so in love and we have great sex. If it ain't deeper than that, then that's what you're gonna crumble on.
Yep.
It's a
Yo,
business.
One
you
of
know
my
what?
biggest questions was, can you handle me? One of my biggest thoughts with Elijah was, can you handle me at my worst? Can you handle me at my worst? Not can I handle you at your worst? Can you handle me? Because I know what my worst can look like. I know the baggage I brought into the marriage. Can you handle it?
Mhm.
Because if you can't, we ain't gonna make it.
Yep. First of all,
I
I want
mean,
to say, Patrice, I love you too.
what y'all
What
are
you said?
describing, is that actually like a business, or is that just you making a good decision? Like
It's
to
in both.
partner with someone.
You gotta
Because if you're
go
talking
ahead.
about considering more things than just finances, at that point it's not necessarily a business decision. Like when I think business, I'm thinking finances and like how am I going to profit from this? And yes, you want to look at your relationship and say, is this going to be a positive thing for me? But I didn't go into my marriage with like a business mindset like that. It was more of like, okay, how are we going to, do this together? Are we going to reach our goals, and how are we going to reach our goals? Are you the type of person that's going to stay motivated and determined to keep going forward, or are you the type of person that's going to keep me stuck? But is that making a business decision, or is that just making a smart decision for your life? Like,
I think
Everything
it's
you
also,
just
I
said
think
is
it's
something
also,
people get asked in interviews. Everything you just said is something people get asked in interviews. What are your goals?
yeah.
Well, how are we gonna do this together? What is your
Mhm.
motivation? That's something you get asked in job interviews.
I think more like marriage is
yeah, but
operated
you
like a
understand what
business.
I'm
It's
saying.
operated like one, not necessarily an entity, but operated like one, like under an umbrella. There's a lot of similarities. You obviously had to ask Marcus questions, right? There were things that you wanted. It's going to be a reciprocal relationship. Same thing in a business and a worker and an employee. It's the same type of thing. To me, it's reciprocal to me.
It's
So
definitely not a worker and employee type of relationship. I just view it as just a life decision, because when you make decisions about friendships and who you're going to keep in your life as friends, are those business decisions too or not? Like
hell
it's
yeah,
just,
in my
it's just
mind.
thinking, processing, and making a good decision. You're weighing the pros and cons, the advantages and the disadvantages, and then you make a decision about what you're going to do. But I don't view it as like a business. Like I think we're
I
like
do.
intermeshing the two, and it doesn't really, it doesn't sit like that for me. I'm just voicing my opinion. All
No,
y'all
no,
have
yeah. I
I
and
think
think
that's
that
like
two
you and
things.
Marcus, like
it's just
worker.
making an educated, smart decision about what you want to do for your life. And I see it as a partnership, but not necessarily in a business sense.
And I didn't mean like
I think
worker employer, like not like that. I'm just saying like the resemblance of it. Not saying that y'all have that going on or anything like that. I'm just saying the resemblance of the business like mentality.
I think that it is a business. I think that it's a smart decision in the beginning, but I think that a marriage is run like a business because it's reciprocal. You're both getting things out of each other. So if you have kids, we have to collectively decide how we're going to raise these kids. Just like, and I'm not trying to relate it to like, an actual job, but you have to decide how your business is going to run with your employees. You're going to have to decide what you're going to take, what you're not going to take, the success of your union. I think the union is run kind of like business like. I think if people didn't just look at it like I love him, I think that it might be a little bit stronger. Because, and the reason why I said that is because when the love breaks down, the whole marriage can break down for some people. But if you have a business, when you're not necessarily making all the money, you still striving and striving and striving to make that thing work. That's what I
Mhm.
mean, like when I say kind of like a business. When if the clinical cookout start doing bad, we're gonna be like, okay, what can I do to fix it? What can I do? How can we sell this? How can we sell that? Should we offer more webinars? In your marriage, a lot of people don't think like that. They just think, well, I don't love them no more, so I'm about to just be gone. Instead of thinking like, okay, well, we built this together. We have kids together. We have this foundation. We got this damn house that we bought together. We have all these assets that we made together. And so how do we make this thing work for the both of us? That's how I think about it.
Yeah. I think of business as a metaphor. It's just a
Yeah.
metaphor for how it's created. there are going to be things that happens. Just okay, I'll not even marriage. We'll go with friendships. Would you be surrounded by somebody who is out, any of us out, doing ignorant stuff, illegal stuff? Would any of us be doing that? Would any of us have friends like that? No, because we got license, right? We operate as our own as a business, and we wouldn't have them people in none of our homes or around our, our business, place of business if they was doing that. Why? Because those friendships would obviously impact the way we roll in life. That would literally affect us in some way. It would be withdrawing from us rather than depositing the positives. So yes, in my friendships, I don't see y'all as a business, but it's a metaphor that if this has to work, it has to be a reciprocal relationship. And if you ain't working, you got to go.
So Dorian said, in that case, isn't life? He said, isn't life just business? But yes, Dorian, you're right. Your life is a business. That's why Jay-Z said, that's why.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Shug.
That's why Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Let me handle my business. Damn. He was really talking that talk.
So all I'm going to say is, what came first? Did life come first or did business come first?
The chicken or the egg?
Life came first, and then people started making smart decisions that then started turning into business stuff. And so now we're saying, oh, this is a business. Marriage is a business. This is a business. No, it's just you making smart decisions for your life that are going to benefit you or benefit the other person or benefit your kids or whatever. But it's not necessarily I just don't want us to send the wrong message, because when you say business, you got people out here that's like, you know what? I need to find me a rich man and marry him because that's a good business decision for me. And that's
nobody thinks that, because there's too many people out here dating broke men.
What are you talking about?
Well, hold on. In marriage, here's the thing. Amber, I think it's because you're looking at it just from financial point of money. Like, I gotta marry this rich man. There are other things that are of value in a marriage. So anything that we place value on, because humans, we place value on things. Stuff don't come with value already. We place the value on it. So I place value on honesty. I place value on trust. I place value on emotional vulnerability and emotional maturity. I place value on those things. So it is a business in a sense. And even thinking about life, what came first? Well, me being on this earth came from my parents' business decision. They loved each other, but they made a decision. We are going to bring a child into this world, and this is how we want that to look.
That wasn't a business decision. That's what I'm saying. That was just a decision. It's just a decision. We put business in the front of it, and it's just a decision. But either way, we all have our own opinions about it. I just don't. I think it's sending.
That's okay.
I just think it's sending a certain type of message when we, like, I understand that somebody in here made a comment saying there's business in it. Business is in it. Let's be real. Yes, business is in it. There is an aspect of that in the relationship, but I don't think that the two are the same for you to just say, like, marriage is a business decision. I think there are business related things in it where you're talking about cost, benefits, assets, but I don't think that the whole thing is a business transaction when it comes to marriage or relationships. That's all I'm saying. So we good.
No, you're entitled to your opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
We good. Yep. And I mean, it's the emotions involved. We often can't look at it as a business because we feel like, well, when I'm doing business, my emotions shouldn't be involved. Sometimes they should be. Yes, business is more logic based, but you also got to sometimes go with your heart and with your intuition on those things. So emotions are still involved.
Yeah. I think, Abraham, you're right. I think we all are saying the same thing. It's just in different forms, which is why I said it was a metaphor. That metaphor can look different for every one of us because we lead 4 different lives. So, you're absolutely right. I do think we're all saying the same thing.
Y'all didn't come up with no other questions today. We just been on this.
Well, that was a good topic. Like, he said the system is set up for partners to make it.
Yeah, partnerships fare better because more than one person is taking the risk. So when you join into a partnership, you got a better chance of making it than doing it solo. A sole proprietorship is a harder thing to do than a partnership.
I agree.
All right, next question. Can we pull a question from our card?
I didn't see any questions on here.
Oh, hey y'all.
So we do have. Oh, you gotta show them, Ash, and
That's
introduce.
what we got, y'all. I don't know if y'all remember, but this is a surprise I spoke about earlier in my promo clip for tonight. We got cards, y'all. Can y'all see them? We have our official clinical cookout conversation card deck that we are going to be having pre-orders for tonight. They start tonight?
Yes, and I actually have the link right now. I'm gonna drop it in the chat.
Yes, the pre-order for our cookout conversation card deck starts tonight. And if y'all want a sampling of the questions, I could ask one and y'all could, answer in the chat. And we also
before you do that, somebody said that they love your hair. Marie.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks, Marie. It's cool.
So all we have, this is a standard deck of cards with 2 wild cards and 52 cards. So we each got 13 cards. Each of the aunties have 13 cards where we created the questions or the statement. And basically, this is a game that you can play with friends, family, whoever. And it's just to get you to talk about deeper things and to learn about each other in a deeper way. So I'm going to give y'all want me to do an example from each one of us? I can do that.
Don't matter.
Okay. So, Auntie Amber's card. I'm going to do Auntie Amber's card first. Because
do somebody else. Do somebody else's card. Which question is it? I don't know.
Auntie Amber's question here says, when have you put on a mask to conceal your feelings? How did it affect you short and long term? So
okay, that is a bad one.
When have you worn a mask to conceal your feelings? That's a really good question that we probably don't know about people in our lives. We be thinking this is who they are the whole time. They've been wearing a mask.
Damn sure do.
Yeah.
Whole mask.
Should calm down. We good. Let's see. When did we have to wear a mask, and how did it affect you in the short term and the long term? Is that what the question is?
Oh, Marie said
that's a good one.
Marie said at work.
Marie says at work.
At work, yeah.
I think in relationships, sometimes people wear masks. Like in the first, few months, people put on a mask. So,
how does it affect you though to do that? To go into work every day? Because oftentimes we look at work. That's one of the hardest places because it's like I gotta go in here, I gotta do my job, I gotta be professional, blah blah blah. So we put on that mask. But how does that actually affect you day in and day out to have to go into this place and put that on? Like, let me be nice to these people. Like, how does that affect your overall well-being?
Wearing a mask?
Wearing a mask to conceal your
creates a fake persona. You're not who you really are. You're inauthentic. It creates discord in your head. Like really, somebody who has to wear a mask all day and then take it off whenever they go wherever. Like eventually you start putting on a mask in different situations and you're just not who you really are, or you don't know who you are. Eventually it comes off because it's not sustainable, or at least it gets cracks in it.
What does Carl Rogers say? It's incongruence with self.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. I'm trying to think of a specific situation. I don't know. I think I stopped doing that a long time.
Ooh, back in order 2 steps to car.
Ooh, yes. Thank you,
That order.
Oh, Dorian said really good. That's a really good one. Really
putting on a mask makes you even more numb.
Yes, you become numb and desensitized, and that's just how you walk through life. And it's like, this is how I'm gonna show up.
It's called functional depression.
Yeah. And that's when everybody looks at you and thinks you're okay, you're good, you're smiling, you're cooking, your house is clean. And it's like, no, I'm not good. I actually did have maybe later on in the year last year, I didn't even recognize it, y'all. I didn't recognize that I was depressed because I kept going and going and going. And then there was a couple of months where all I wanted to do was get in the bed after work. Came home every day. Kids started picking up on it. Why you always started
Oh,
She
is
breaking
Amber
up. Amber,
breaking up?
she is. Let me tell her she breaking up. She might not hear us. She don't know. Hold on, y'all. Can you hear us, Amber? You breaking up.
Keep going. Keep going.
So, I gotta get back to the comments because Abe said something interesting. I can't see the comments. Well, that's up. What did Abe say?
We lost Amber to the Matrix.
Abe said coworkers get confused when they meet the real you. You know what's interesting about that? I have worked with people, and I know people in my personal life, friends and everything, who will tell you, I don't talk to nobody outside of work. I don't accept friend requests from coworkers. And I'm like, why? Because I don't need them knowing that part of me. So you don't need them knowing you. You want them to see that part of you. That's the mask you put on for work. But you don't want them to know you. And that's always interesting to me. Like, I'm not big on hiding that. I've been friends with several coworkers I don't work with in the past. Because I try very hard to show up the same way in every space I step into. And I wasn't always like that.
Unfortunately, that's not always the case for Black folks when they go into predominantly white spaces. That could eventually mess with your mental health when they take your introvertedness or your wall as being aggressive or being not friendly or not being cooperative. And so I can see how that could easily fall into that category and affect your mental health, because you put on this mask to go to work, do your job, and now everyone else is thinking you're not friendly or you don't want to be around them and all these other things they think about. And then next thing you know, now you're in distress because you want to be yourself, but you can't, or you don't want to. And now we got a conflict.
Yep.
Can y'all see me or hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
Oh, okay. Because somebody said we lost Auntie Amber to the Matrix, and I was cracking up.
Not to the Matrix.
We lost you to the Matrix.
All right, my bad, y'all. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, Marie said, I think a lot of that stems from people not feeling safe. It's feeling work is a safe space, and it can be mentally draining. And Abe said, people don't want to get in trouble at work for something they said in the social media space. True indeed. True indeed. But you still can't. Nowadays, you got people who will send stuff from your social media page to your boss. People have gotten fired from stuff they put on social media, and they weren't friends with nobody at work. So you run that risk either way.
It took me a while to accept my supervisors on Facebook because I was like, listen, I don't want y'all on my social media page. So they waited 6 months to send me a request.
Sometimes it's not that people don't want people to know the real them. Everybody don't have access to you. Like, I don't give everybody access to every part of me, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just means I'm not somebody who wants my coworkers in all of my business. I don't want to hang out with you after work. I want to be with my friends. Some people have a certain group of friends and their coworkers are just their coworkers. Some people can compartmentalize their lives that way, and it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them or they're inauthentic. They just don't want to be bothered with everybody, and that's okay too. I'm people. And I show up the same everywhere.
All right, so that was good. So that was one of the cards from the deck. Another card from that was whose card? That was Auntie Amber's card.
And we have like 10 minutes left, or like 5 minutes left.
Okay. Auntie Shug's question, I pulled one that's a little bit easy. Well, it might not be, depending on how secure you are. What is your favorite thing about your body and why? Auntie Shug's card. Her face is on there.
My legs, my thighs, and my booty after I had them kids.
I would say it used to be my body when I was in track, but now I would say probably my smile because I have a dimple, and a lot of people are drawn to dimples, and so I've always been complimented on my smile. So I would say that's probably my best feature.
Okay. For me, it's always been my eyes, and after I had kids, just like I never, it became my booty. I like my, and I love my track legs. When I ran track, my legs was baby. You couldn't tell me nothing about these stallions I was running on. Yeah, I've always my booty is a great asset.
The booty is bootying.
Booty is booty, in my eyes.
Yes, I am dimplicious. I only got one dimple though. It's only one. It's only one.
I don't know. My favorite thing on me is my arms and my legs.
Okay.
My lips.
Pouring back into ourselves.
My eyebrows.
You do got nice
You
eyebrows.
do got some good eyebrows.
My nose. My eyes.
Everything.
My thighs. I just like me.
And our,
Right.
our face cards never what?
Decline.
Yes.
Face card is valid, okay?
Yes.
But you know what? It took me until age 28 to get like this. This is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I ain't gonna read Auntie Shug's other card, but she got a card that's the opposite of that. What's your biggest insecurity? And so that's to help you balance it, because I don't care who you are. Some days you might look in that mirror and have an insecurity. That's just, it's natural and it's okay. That don't mean you got lower confidence or self-esteem. It just means some days it be rough out here. And you hard on yourself. So Auntie, or no, I'm gonna do Auntie Keish card last because it's a fun one. So mine says, in what ways have you been the villain in someone's story? That forces you to be very self-aware. You got to admit you've been the villain to somebody else. It ain't always them.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, a lot of time it be them.
See
Listen, I don't want to be a villain, but I'm pretty sure I done been a villain in somebody's story.
Mm.
We losing Amber to the Matrix again.
I'm gonna start.
Oh, we had it. Type it in the chat. No,
Not type it in the chat.
you a guest at this.
Can y'all hear me now?
Type it in the chat.
Oh, damn.
Yes.
Oh, you hear me now? I'm out. I'll figure it out.
You gotta come back. We only gonna be here a few more minutes anyway.
Yeah,
I know I've
been up in a few minutes anyway.
I know I've been the villain in somebody's story. I know I used to be.
Who is Queen Kong?
I don't know.
What?
Queen Kong. I appreciate her for sticking up for me. I'm sorry, I was going through the comments.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I saw that. And I wondered who that was too. I was like, that's somebody sticking up for Auntie Suge out here against A.
Come get me.
I don't see no Queen Kong in here. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Queen Kong is a brilliant name.
Mm-hmm.
We love that, girl. We love that. I'm assuming it's a woman.
Right.
Just patches. I should have had these cards express delivered overnight.
So this is pre-order. So pre-order, we taking pre-orders throughout what, the next 3 weeks we said. Cards, the first batch of cards will go out at the end of May, I think. So we're trying to do pre-orders now so we can get everything together. So this is pre-order. Okay. Lastly,
go ahead, Amber. I think you were about to talk.
Oh, can you hear Amber now?
Go ahead.
No, if you out the Matrix, tell us when you was the villain. If you out the Matrix.
I don't know if y'all can hear me.
We can.
We can.
Oh, okay. I don't remember what I was about to say, so y'all could go ahead. I was about to say, like, I'm sure I was the villain in somebody's story, but I hate being the villain. And so I've always like tried to circle back and make things right with those people. It don't always work, but I hate when people like end a relationship with me and they think terribly about me because of a misunderstanding or a miscommunication. So I used to always try to circle back and clear things up. Like, this isn't what I meant, or this isn't what happened. And now I don't give a fuck. But I used to like really be concerned with being the villain in people's story. Like, it was a bad thing for me. Like, I would constantly ruminate about it, and I had to go back and try to fix it, even if it wasn't fixable.
I'd be like, say goodnight to the bad guy.
I'm not like that anymore, but I used to be. It was real bad. Like,
And I think as mental health professionals, I think we don't want to be villains in people's story. Like, I think it's like, wouldn't it be like second nature for us to like go back and try to fix things or try to address things if it's, we don't intend to hurt somebody.
yeah.
I don't know, because I've always resonated with villains in stories. Like if we talk about movies and things like that, I resonate with the villain. And then when they started to do villain, and most people ain't just villains off the bat. So if I am the villain in somebody's story, it's not to take accountability off of me, because I can admit if I have been, but it's like that didn't just come from out of nowhere, because I'm not mean spirited by nature, just out of nowhere. It still came from somewhere. Thanks, Just Patches. She said, I love that you all are doing merchandise. Thank you. Now,
That's a
Auntie
dude.
Keisha, huh?
That's a dude.
Who, Just Patches? Oh.
Ashley.
And look, heck of my brain to say, well, call me Cruella. That's why I F's with you, Cruella.
No, call me Cruella.
So last one, Auntie Keish. This is an example card for Auntie Keish. If you could complete a greatest hits album with all the songs that lift your mood, what would it be? What's some songs that lift y'all mood?
I'm going to Renaissance. The way I be putting on concerts over here, and now I'm on Cowboy Carter.
The whole rodeos in the house.
Whole rodeo.
I'm going to Chris Brown's first album. That one takes me back to like, I don't know, middle school, whatever days, just the happiest times. Like,
Chris Brown's first album was unmatched. Okay, unmatched. I would agree on that one.
My father-in-law still listens to that album.
That album was perfecto.
I feel good mood. I got to throw on some Juvenile, back that ass up. Like, I gotta be able to twerk and do all that stuff, and I feel great. Like right now, I'm bumping Glow. I'm bumping Glow's whole album right now. Glow's whole album right now.
Look, Glow got me getting real fit. That's all I got to say. I'm gonna pop out real muscular in a couple months because of Glow.
The workout. Tell more speak. Oh, I like Janae. I like her. You got some good vibes. So
who's your feel good?
I listen to Tupac. I listen to Eminem.
You such a thug.
I listen to I like Janae Aiko, and I also listen to India Irie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll also do some old school, like Too Short, like Shake That Monkey, Yin Yang Twins.
My favorite word.
Like the old Quirk stuff. Gucci Mane. Throwing bricks in there.
Old Gucci.
Right, old Gucci.
Not Ashley.
Gucci. Old Gucci.
Wait, feel good music is Tupac. I knew you was crazy. So you know
crazy.
Her.
It's crazy.
You know her personally.
All right, y'all. So it is time for us to wrap up. So just for us to recap, we got two big things for y'all. First thing is our in-person clinical cookout. We're having a mental health conference. We all speaking, and then we are having a cookout, games, food, raffles, all kinds of stuff going on, music, everything. So y'all should come out. We are also going to create a donation link. So for those for those of you who can't make it to the actual clinical cookout but would like to donate to us so that we can make it a little bit better, then we will post that as well. And then our second thing.
And then our second thing is there is currently a link. Should put it in the comments earlier, but she just got up. I'm gonna let her come back and put it in the comments.
Just to let y'all know, this is my newest read.
He looks so good.
He's not to be sexualized.
That man was fine.
He's not to be sexualized? Okay.
No.
I was gonna
yes.
response to her, but I ain't gonna. So yeah, we have these. Should put the link for the pre-order back in the comments if you can. So this is our clinical cookout card deck, conversation card deck. And this is to help you have fun with friends, family, and just learn more about each other. You can play this on its own, or you can incorporate it with other games that you already have. The rules are in there for you to do either or.
And just to recap, can y'all hear me right now? Am I in the matrix? Y'all can hear me? Okay. Just so y'all know, these are pre-orders for the card. So when you make your order, they are not being delivered immediately. We are collecting pre-orders for the next 3 weeks. And then Auntie Ashley is going to do her due diligence and make sure that everything is mailed out after that. So these are pre-orders, just to be clear. So please don't hit us up talking about it's been 2 weeks and it ain't came. Pre-orders, just so y'all know.
And she just basically told y'all, Auntie Ashley got to do it, meaning if you ain't got your cards at the time you're supposed to, I'm the one that's going to get cussed out. Y'all can cuss me out.
Get her.
It's gonna be me.
All right.
But thank y'all so much for coming. We appreciate y'all tuning in, and we had a lot of fun tonight. I like our controversial topics.
Really good topic. Really good conversation.
Y'all have a great rest of the evening, and Auntie should take us out.
So we have the clinical cookout coming up. We have some new clinical cookout conversation cards. I call them 4C because they're clinical cookout conversation cards. And right now they're on pre-sale. So we gave y'all mental health. It was free. And I got stuff to do. Ashley got stuff to do. Keish and Amber do too. What y'all about to do?